Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name is Luke Mason. Welcome back for everyone who is already a subscriber to the YouTube channel. If you're not already a subscriber to the MMA Fancast YouTube channel, please subscribe so you can see more great interviews, including the one coming at you right now. Always an honor to have this guest on the show. He is the reigning, soon to be defending CFFC Amateur Welterweight Champion of the World. It's Las Vegas James Lledo. Champ, welcome back to the show.
Thanks so much for having me again. I really appreciate it.
Always an honor to have you on the show. You were recently on. You had your first title fight for CFFC back July 26th, which was kind of very big news for CFFC as well, because they're a top end regional promotion, but they also started making, it's called Next Gen. They started making amateur only cards. You headlined their first ever Next Gen 1 amateur card, and you're headlining your title defense is headlining Next Gen 2 October 3rd. But back July 26th, people need to go watch that video that you did talking about it. You won by first round stoppage, doctor stoppage, first round. It was a great title fight. And we have a lot to cover. October 3rd, just a few weeks away, you will be fighting Next Gen 2 for defense of the welterweight belt against undefeated Sean Clabough. And I guess we can start right there. This is a massive matchup. You're 6-1. You are, according to Tapology, as champion, and with your record, you're currently listed as the number one ranked welterweight amateur fighter in Pennsylvania. That's out of 88 fighters at the welterweight level. And out of 330 welterweights listed in all of the U.S. Northeast, you are number 2 out of 330. Before we get to your opponent and his rankings, talk about what it means to start getting a little bit of that attention, that ranking from Tapology, due to your record and your high-level performances.
It doesn't feel out of the ordinary at all. I mean, I train for this, I fight for this. Like I want to be the best and I know that I want to be the best. And to get recognized for it by Tapology and climb those rankings is a great reward, but it's not what I do it for. I love the fight, I love to train. I love this entire process so much. And to be recognized for it is a great feeling, but it just feels right. It feels normal.
That makes sense. I mean, that's part of the payoff, all the hard work, you, your brother Jack, and everybody at your gyms. And we'll actually talk about your gyms now, because I've been following you from literally your first amateur fight, which has been a pleasure. You're now living on the eastern side of Pennsylvania. I always like to call that the good side because I'm from Allentown. I've been living in Greene County, just below Pittsburgh, for the last 20 years, but I still like to refer to the eastern side of Pennsylvania as the good side. You are out there in the King of Prussia area with the great gym, the great MMA gym, Algeo MMA and Kickboxing, with Bill Algeo, who's an incredible fighter in his own right, and a coach and the owner of that, as well as also Southside Boxing. Talk about what it's been like since you got back. You've wrestled at 2 or 3 different colleges, Pitt, Pitt, Ohio. No, your brother's out of Ohio.
Lockhaven. Yeah, Lockhaven.
Lockhaven, that's what it was. But I got your brother right. He's out of Ohio. Yeah, he was at, okay. So, and now you're wrestling at a Division 3 college, which we'll have you on later to talk about that when you make your national run. When that happens, I'm a Division 3 coach. We kind of geeked out about Division 3 last time we talked about you starting your final year, but their first year as a program. Just great stuff. We'll talk about that later. Talk about what it's been like getting back to Algeo and Southside.
I mean, it's just awesome. Like those guys, everybody that's in my circle of guys, like I would do anything for their family, and we train together every day. We train hard together, and we're all there for each other. Like every part of every step of the way, like everybody's there to help, hold pads, help you with your technique, and just be there for you. And like that's something that like no big gym or no like commercial gym could ever make up for. It's like you're surrounded by people that love you and care about you, and like that's where I believe anybody makes the most improvements. And it's like it's not all these things that look good on paper, but it's having those people that care about you and that you can trust because that's what I have. And I've been making leaps that I've been making leaps in a couple months that I haven't made in years, and it's just it's a great feeling having Matt Lashock, Bill Algeo, Anthony Dill, Joey Milano, John Rocco, like all my best friends. Like it's just great, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I just keep getting better, and I'm staying on this path, and I'm very faithful with who I have right now. So it's a dream come true.
Yeah, and that's why I always like to talk about your coaches. I had the privilege and the pleasure of watching Bill Algeo many years ago. He was doing a lot of Muay Thai kickboxing. Of course, the gym is MMA and kickboxing, and he's very skilled in both MMA, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. I'm sure Jiu-Jitsu as well. But back then, he was fighting for USKA Sports, which is still around. Originally, I knew him when he was fighting for Irv Aldhouse, who's the promoter of USKA. Now, a good buddy of mine, Gary Grant, is in charge of USKA. You've probably even been maybe to some of their events because they're on the East Coast. So I've been watching him for a very long time. It's just incredible to see what he's doing, but also to see how great of a gym and that family environment for you. Now, we already talked about your rankings on Tapology, and while any ranking can be argued with, and certainly no ranking is perfect, one thing I appreciate about Tapology is because it keeps the records and just database upon database, people should get onto it. It's a good time. Uh, they do try to rank based on who you fought. We have talked many times. You've always wanted to fight the best, and at a 6-1 record, you being ranked so high, I think shows because not only is it a good record, but it's also your what they call strength of your opponents. Your opponent, speaking of opponents, is 7-0. And while I certainly don't know him and I haven't done a deep dive Tapology due to his record of opponents and also his undefeated status at 7-0, have him ranked as number 2 in all of USA, which is number 2 out of 2,700 welterweights. This is quite literally a national attention fight, not only because you're fighting, but also your opponent is at that level where eyes will be. This is a national important fight for really amateur supremacy of welterweight. It's just a big deal. What do you know about Sean Clabough that made you say yes? And then let's start talking about your opponent. 7-0, high ranked, really bumps this profile to, I would say, and I like to say this at this level, this is basically a pro fight. I know it's amateur rules, it's for an amateur belt, but a 6-1 guy, 7-0 guy, national level, national focus, so high ranked. This is better than a lot of pro fights for a lot of guys early in their career. But talk about what you know about Sean Clabough and why say yes to him. Oh, and of course, right when I say that great question, we are having some technical difficulties. I'm going to see if we can get the wonderful champ James Vegas Lledo back, and we'll see if we can get this going again.
Hey,
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 we are back. It's still recording, at least from what we're saying. So, technology, we're just going to keep right on rolling. Okay, champ. I had laid out a pretty long question talking about what your thoughts are on Sean Clabough, particularly why you said yes to this. I had laid out the case of this being a very important fight at the national ranking level because of how high ranked both you guys are. So, take it away. Your thoughts on Sean Clabough, why say yes to this, and talk about your upcoming opponent for your title defense for CFFC.
at first glance, watching the tape, he's a very skilled kickboxer, good power, very skilled guard playing jiu-jitsu, and he's hungry. Like he's gonna come to try to take it, and like it's an exciting matchup. But like why I took the fight is the opportunity. Like you can't beat this opportunity to fight on what I believe, and I don't think there's much argument, but the biggest amateur show
Mm-hmm.
you can possibly be on for CFFC in their second next gen event in the main event against a top two kid in the country. You can't beat that. Absolutely. I'm going to take that. And I believe I'm built for those kinds of moments. And I know that like I can perform under those lights because I felt it the last fight. That was the best I've ever felt. And to up the stakes even more, like it just excites me. I love to do that. I love to take those risks and I love to up the stakes. Like all of it, like that makes me feel so alive and I just can't wait for it. Like everything about the event just gets me out of bed and it makes me train so hard and like I just can't wait. I wish it was here already right now.
Well, that type of perspective that you have always shows. It's one of the reasons why I love having the Lledo brothers on, Jack included. Your focus, your excitement, and the fact that the bigger the stakes get, the more eyes you fighting for CFFC now 2 times, both as the main event for Next Gen 1, Next Gen 2. Right there, that's history, right? No matter what happens from now down the road, you're gonna be able to look back and be like, hey, first 2 Next Gens ever for CFFC were you as the headline. Obviously, your opponent, exactly what you said. You are performing at a high level. Your last opponent was very high ranked as well, clearly fighting for the belt, and you finished him in the first round with doctor stoppage. And obviously, that's the level of efficiency and violence and domination that you want. Um, since you talked about him ranking wise, obviously, what are your thoughts? You said his style. What are your thoughts on him? Have you had any type of interaction? Sometimes opponents don't have any contact before they fight. Sometimes there's a lot of back and forth. Kind of let me know how it's been with your upcoming opponent, Sean.
Oh, well, yeah, we had a little back and forth on Instagram. It started because I made a post calling my shot saying that last three dudes I beat were undefeated and nothing changes on October 3rd. We're just up in the stakes like we talked about, and I love that. And he took it the wrong way. He reposted it and he didn't like it at all. And he called his shot, no harm, no foul. But after he called his shot, he personally DM'd me and basically apologized for it. And I mean, it was just acting like it's not real. Like, no, I mean everything I say. Like, I beat the last three guys that were undefeated, and I have every intention to take his O2. Like, I mean that with everything. And for him to personally like message me, it just kind of threw me off. Like, it's like, oh, so you're like, you don't really mean it, okay? Like, you don't want it as bad as I do, and I like that got me going. And then I just reposted his own thing and said, just make sure you show up. And I mean that. Like I just want him to show up, and I hope he does. And and after I didn't respond to the rest of what he had to say, he took it upon himself to start arguing with my friends that reposted all my stuff. And he got into a back and forth with this kid from Algeo's, Jack Missette, and he's like he's a 140 pound kickboxer. He don't do MMA and he's like half our size. And like for him to get so mad at that one kid over that, it's hilarious to me. It's like you should be focusing on what's in front of you right now, like not be going on back and forth with people you're never gonna fight. Like it's just like I'm licking my lips because it's like I know what I have on my mind, and then like he's out here messing around doing all this stuff. It's like man, like let's go. Like I just know that my head's in the right place, and if he's worried about all this stuff, like he's not going to be ready for this. Like no way.
Well, there is very much a mental side, and I know you and many high level fighters. You got to get the mental side right, and obviously, part of the mental side is the whether you call this trash talking, whatever, the mental game side. And what's great is part of you being at this level is because you have a mental game that works for you. There's always a chance that this is the mental game that works for him. You know, the calling out fights for guys he can't fight because they're 30 pounds apart. Like, I mean, think about some of, I'm just saying, think about some of the ridiculous things Chael Sonnen had said. That works for him, right? Even though a lot of it was just nonsense. So I agree with you. It's not your style. You are all fight focused. You might be right that this guy doesn't have the focus, or he's kind of wasting energy. But what's great is it's all decided once you're inside the cage. And I think as you climb the ranks, as you have amateur and then in the future pro, as you know, because you've been following MMA for many years, the trash talking, the back and forth, it just gets more and more and more, right? The higher up, the more people care. the bigger those type of things happen. So I'm glad you're getting the opportunity to kind of figure out how you respond to these type things. So appreciate you sharing that on this to kind of clarify your perspective on what's been going on. Now I got to ask the obvious question. You can take this any way you want. Do you think that this back and forth with Sean also with your other friends and your training partners, do you think this makes you more hungry and more desiring of the knockout and the finish, or do you think it's really not something that makes it more personal to you? Where do you fall on that? Because at the end of the day, a fight is personal, regardless of what of whether or not there's no bad blood or not.
No, no, nothing changes. He's getting knocked out no matter what. He can say whatever he wants to all my friends, family. It don't matter. He can say whatever he wants to me too. It nothing changes what's going to happen on October 3rd. He's getting knocked out.
Well, that takes me to the prediction. I knew that you had said, um, as you commented on your post, you had said that you're going to take his O. And frankly, you wouldn't be fighting undefeated guys if you didn't think you could take their O. I mean, obviously, I mean that's why you take these fights, like you said. That's your record. That's what you've been doing. That's what you want to keep doing. But for you to call a knockout, what does that mean about where you are training wise and what you see in your opponent as well for you to predict that knockout?
I just know how good I am. And the past couple weeks, even since that last fight, like I think right now, if I fought myself from my last fight, I'd finish him in the first round. Like I know how much better I'm getting, and like we're hitting pads today, and I'm like, man, like I'm cracking like I've never cracked before. Like I'm getting so much better, and I know that my shots are gonna land. And then like the outcome and how long it takes is just on how tough he is. Like honestly, like it's like I know I'm gonna land and those shots are gonna hit him, and then anything after that is just how tough he can be. Like that's what I know. Like they're gonna land. Whether he goes down in the first or third is indifferent to me. Like I just know it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and one of the things that Champ that you just said is one of the greatest coaching advices, and really you could also say mental health advice as well as job advice. Compare yourself to yourself. That's literally what you just said. In fighting, in any athletics, that's what you should always be doing is focus on your progress, your development based on your baseline from last month, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, your last fight. And that's a big deal. And that does take away some of that mental game that can get hard when people have, and obviously you have a very strong mental game, but I've counseled people that's one of the things they need to know, right? Improve over yourself. And when it comes to MMA, being able to beat the younger version of you is important. Justin General Patton has talked about this on the show. Ethan the Wolverine Goss has talked about this on this show. And of course, they're studs. We love them. But that's a big deal, right? To always be improving against yourself because you want to be able to be such a good opponent October 3rd that you would walk through yourself from July 26th. That's the progress you need to be making. I love that. And I think that can also be great for mental health as well when people struggle with whatever it might be, whether it's an addiction, drugs and alcohol, PTSD, whatever it is, grief. It's about progress from where you were. You can't always compare yourself, particularly mentally, to people out there. You got to focus on your own development. So that's a great mindset to have for life. So thanks for sharing that champ. For you, you've already predicted what the result's going to be, why we've talked about your opponent, all those things. At this point, what are you looking forward to the most? Is it having families and friends there? Is it getting a huge crowd pop? Is it not getting a crowd pop and having kind of an enemy vibe? What are you kind of looking forward to? Maybe outside of just getting the win, or maybe that's all you're looking forward to. But what are those things that you're also looking forward to if we've missed anything?
It's the competition. I mean, this is the reason why I do it. I fight because I love to fight. And like those 3 3-minute rounds, like it's the most alive that I feel. And I love that. And the crowd, my family, everybody going crazy, the music, the lights, the event itself, like all of that stuff is amazing and I love it. And it's a party. Like I honestly treat it like a party, but nothing beats that fight part. Like I love to compete. and like that is my favorite part of the whole night. Everything else is a party in and of itself, but that's my favorite part. Those 3 rounds, I love that.
That's another thing that's so important, right? You love the competition by putting that foremost. Anything that happens, that's the result. But you focus on the competition, what you can control. That's another big deal for people. If yes, you want to win, but you've got to love the competition. You got to love the grind. You got to love potentially having to scramble from a bad position to a good position, right? You got to love whatever the in fight transitions have to be. You got to love all of that. You've already mentioned your gyms, the two main gyms, Algeo, MMA, and kickboxing, and Southside boxing. Let's get to the other people that are in your corner as far as sponsors, as far as people supporting you. This is a huge part. I know for you, this is a big deal. This is the first time you've gone into a fight with sponsors. So we are especially grateful for all the sponsors that are behind you. Let's talk about them now.
First, obviously, first and foremost, I want to thank my cousin, his company, Griffin and Mazzy GM Contractors. They're the best around, and that's family. So I love to have them in my corner, and I appreciate them being one of my first sponsors. And next up, Fratelli's Pizza. They're often imitated, never duplicated, best around. Second one, Bridget Zhang, thank you so much. Like it's not even a personal company, but she wanted to sponsor me and we made it happen, made her a label and everything. So thank you so much. And Merkel's Tree Service, thank you. J Wood Excavating, thank you. Allegro Pizza and Grill, thank you. And Greek Lady uh, uh, Cuisine, thank you.
Yeah, that's a great list. I like to use this platform not only to give fighters the opportunity to thank their sponsors because that really is a big deal, but to also talk about particularly at the amateur early pro level people might feel like shy to offer a sponsorship. I'm really happy about the person that's just herself sponsoring you, that it's not a business. And any type of business can become a good sponsor. So if you have a fighter, particularly somebody that you know or somebody that you're just fans of, maybe a family friend, whatever it is, approach them just like that lady did. Like, just approach them and see what they're looking for. And also keep in mind, um, we as listeners and supporters and fans, if you're in the area and you can support any of those businesses, don't just go in and buy the pizza or the service or whatever the option of the company. Say, hey, I'm here because Champ Las Vegas mentioned that you're supporting him, right? That's important. And people don't always do that. You got to close the loop. Walk in and say, hey, I want to talk to the owner and thank the owner for sponsoring James Lledo, right? Because that's how I heard about you, or whatever it is. Or if you've already gone to those companies and you've been there for years, still thank them for sponsoring you. That's a big part. And then the other thing that I think is so cool is if a person's out there and they don't have the ability to give you money, let's say they're a business or something, they can still talk to you about services. A lot of times guys get different things donated, whether it's food, whether it's gear, I mean, there's not much that you wouldn't need. So if somebody wants to offer a sponsorship that's not necessarily cash, it's more an opportunity or something else, a benefit, that can also go a long way. I've heard some of the behind the scenes of sponsorships, and it can get pretty creative and pretty good for both sides, which I think is awesome. So with all of that, and you've got so much more that is coming up. Can't wait for what's going to happen next Gen 2 for CFFC October 3rd. It's just going to be a great event. We've talked about a lot of things tonight. Anything else that you can want to kind of end on? I know I've covered all the stuff that we discussed that I wanted to get through today. I'm sure I could keep talking because that's what I love to do. But what are your closing thoughts as we've had just an incredible time having you on just a few weeks before your title defense for CFFC Next Gen 2 for the Welterweight Amateur Championship of the World.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you
Amen.
to my grandma, my father, my team, not only my gym, but my friends and my family, my teammates, all those guys. And I just can't wait for this opportunity. And I'm gonna make everybody so proud. So I'm just so excited. Please be there, get a ticket, get the live stream, all that stuff. Thank you.
That is a wonderful thing. Always faith, family first. You do a great job with that. I know those are really, really important parts of your life. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to jump on here. My name's Luke Payson for MMA Fancast. Keep following us for updates on Las Vegas. James Lledo. Thanks so much for coming on, champ.
Thank you.
You got it, brother.